We're all Mavericks.
Welcome to Mamish Mavericks.
With your hosts, Maynard and Tov Breslow.
We're olim and gerim.
And we're also entrepreneurs and marketers.
October 7th changed everything,
including the way we do business.
This is the show that realigns your business and goals
with your values and people.
Welcome everyone to Mamish Mavericks. Today we're joined by Jennifer Glass. Jennifer is the CEO of Business Growth Strategies International. Thanks for joining us today, Jennifer.
Ashley, thank you so much for having me here.
It's lovely to have you today. Today we'll be touching upon how to increase leads and revenue without breaking the bank, how having a book can create more opportunities in business, and how being community-minded can help grow one's business. But we're going to start off a little bit easier. Can you let our listeners know where you're based out of today?
I am in New Jersey, in the United States. And to be more specific, I'm a block and a half outside of Teaneck, New Jersey. So most people know Teaneck. I am a block and a half outside of Teaneck, right in New Milford, and have the advantage of cheaper taxes, but still being in Teaneck.
Amazing. I'm also from New Jersey, even though right now I'm based in Israel, the Holy Land. But I am hailing originally from Montclair, New Jersey, which is not as north as you, but
a beautiful city all the same.
Yes.
Yes.
And 25 minutes, give or take, with traffic outside of New York. So we get all of the random people that don't want to live in Brooklyn anymore, but still be close to the city, moving into Montclair and causing a lot of gentrification, but that's a topic for a different podcast. Can you tell me a little bit about your business? We're going to also start off a little bit easier there. Tell me a little bit more about Business Growth Strategies International and how you got to where you are today.
Absolutely. So what I can tell you is that as far as the company, we help business owners install systems to help them increase the efficiency, effectiveness, and profitability of their business. We do that through our coaching or mentoring. We do it through our payment processing company. We do it through our marketing agency or web posting and development and our review management platform. So ultimately, everything that we do is all designed to really increase a business's bottom line, figure out what it is that a business owner is doing, help them stop leaving money on the table, and start seeing even more opportunities, leads, and revenues coming into their business.
Very cool. I'm also very familiar with these topics. I went to school for business, and marketing was a little bit part of that, and it's what makes the world go round. My husband and I worked in marketing for cannabis for 6 years, and I can definitely tell you that lead generation is definitely one of the most important things that you can give to somebody and to give to your own self for your business, because we know that there's a lot of people out there that need our services, and I'm sure that you can relate with that. But before we get into increasing leads and revenue without breaking the bank, like I said, I want to go back a little bit and learn more about you. Connection to your Jewish identity is important to you, and I want to walk me through your journey in business and what roles that your values, whether they be in Yiddishkeit or spirituality and Judaism, play in your business today.
So as far as religion is concerned, it's definitely there. I believe that we have to do what we can. I've said it many times, believing in tikkun olam, fixing the world, helping to bring more opportunities and increase the value of everyone out there. It's not just one person or this, it's helping as many people as we possibly can. In terms of that, as far as the other pieces about me, I started my business back, 19 years ago almost. And it's been a really incredible journey. We went through a rebrand in 2018. But for 19 years this summer, I've had my business. And it's been one of those things that it's just, how can we really be making the biggest difference? A lot of people, they go about doing their day. They do whatever it is that they're trying to get done. But we look at it, or I look at it, in a very different light. I'm looking at it from the perspective of eventually I am going to be president of the United States. And for me, knowing that's where I intend on getting to, that is one of those things that I'm always, all right, I can do this, I can do this, I can do that. Let me really see exactly where I can go with all of this to be making the biggest difference for everyone and not just people in my block, if you will, because I know that I can make a difference here in the United States and globally, helping the small business community, because we know as the small business community grows, the rest of the economy on the global level is growing as well, because small business fuels most of the GDP of the entire globe.
I love that. I love that answer. First and foremost, I love that your goal is to be president of the United States. That it brings me back to being in kindergarten and we go around the room and say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you're probably that kid that said, I want to be president of the United States. And I just love that for you. I also want to say that I totally agree. I think that helping small businesses, especially now after Corona, is so important, especially when America is such a consumerist society. Like we've become these people that just, oh, there's something trending, I have to buy it. And whether it's at Target or Walmart or everything else, we're forgetting that there's so many small businesses out there that deserve the spotlight as well. And I really agree with that. And especially because there's so many things that people can buy and so many things. There might be something that a small business offers that is the exact same thing that your dispensary or restaurant down the store offers as well. I'm moving on a little bit. You talked about how there's so many opportunities for change within the business world. And I want to talk more about those opportunities. And you wrote here, having a book also can create more opportunities. I have two questions here. One is, do you have a book? And also, how can books or having a book create more opportunities?
So the answer to the first question is yes. I have at the moment 4 books that I have done, and I have been in 2 other anthologies as well. And I'm also working on a couple of more books just because I'm not content letting one thing go and not just keeping myself super busy. I even have a couple of pieces. I just started putting together rings because I literally had to do something with my hands while I was doing other stuff. So it's like, all right, I've got my stuff right here and my little wire and everything's been doing that just because I need something with my hands too, especially if I'm sitting there and I'm not other things. But putting that aside though, books can definitely help to improve a business. First of all, one of the things that we all know is that Google relies on 8: authority, trust, and expertise. ATE being the acronym. And so one of the things that having a book allows you to do, first of all, is it allows you to create a lot of authority and it allows you to create a lot of expertise. The other thing it allows you to do is also when you go to someone and you say, listen, I wrote the book on marketing. This is what I did. I wrote the book on marketing. I wrote a book on digital marketing. I wrote a book on having a winning mindset. There's a lot of things that you can be doing that out of the gate really start helping you figure certain things out. The other thing you can do too is with these books, you can use it as a really oversized business card. You can give it to someone and say, here it is. Reach out to me, see exactly what I'm all about, and then you can go from there. The other thing is also if you're trying to get in, the media loves it when you're a published author. Why? Because first of all, there's more information that they can immediately get about you because your book is out there. This is your product. So a book is going to be a tremendous amount of value in terms of how you use it. And then also don't forget the celebrity equation. All of a sudden you wrote a book and it's, wait a second, now I'm actually talking with a published author. It's no longer just you and me. We're 2 people we meet on the street. Neither of us have done anything spectacular. And all of a sudden it's, wait, you wrote the book and now you're on a higher plane because you wrote the book. You wrote a book on whatever it is that I need to know. And so that relationship dynamic starts changing because of the simple fact that, yes, you have a book. And again, one of the things that we know in the unique selling proposition in USP, there's a continuum. And it says, here's all of the different pieces that can break where you are and where someone else is. And really quickly, if it's okay, Tov, just to quickly talk about that continuum. But it starts with the really basic. I'm in this business, you're not. That's a pretty good starting point for the USP. And it goes all the way up to having intellectual property and trademarks and patents and things along those lines. But if you have a book, that's one of those things, someone else doesn't have it. All right, what are you going to do? But here's the other thing, though. You need to also look, though, at what we call a market dominating position, which is something that says I have to be an idiot to not work with this person. So where a book comes in is it really starts to help also create that value to really show, you know what, this person really knows what they're talking about, while someone else who's in the exact same field that doesn't have a book yet may not be as knowledgeable. Now, that's not one of the things that's going to make or break the deal, but it can be one of those things that can push someone over the edge to say, all right, this is where it makes sense and where we have to go from here.
Yes, 100%. It's about the credit that's there and the credit that's due. And I would also like to add that in terms of SEO, when you have a book and your name is out there, whether it's sold on Amazon or somewhere where audiobooks are or anywhere that it can be on the internet, it's also advantageous to have that for SEO purposes because you're also ranking higher on your name and the name of your book, and as a link to your business from there, it ranks higher on Google because of all the attention that it's getting online as well, hopefully. So I really love that.
Yes.
I love that you have books. So you said you wrote 4 books. That's incredible. Are they all about marketing?
So the first book I wrote, called This is the Bottom Line That Matters, Quick Tips and Strategies You Can Use Right Now to Grow Your Business in the Next 12 Months. So that is about marketing. And then what I did was I niched the book to healthcare marketing for medical, dental practices. It talks directly to that. The next book that I did after that was Building a Winning Mindset. And that is all about having the right kind of mindset to help you in your business, to help you as you're looking at what you're doing in life. Very often we know that if you are, as an example, and I use this very often, I put something out there, and as an example, when I speak, especially if I'm doing a quote unquote free event, I will always require on the information that's going out to say the cost is however many hours the program is. Sometimes I get pushback. As an example, I did an event with a bank, and the bank got back to me and said, no, it can't say that the cost is 2 hours. And I say, if you want it to say free, I'm not doing the event. Plain and simple.
As you should.
And basically, after going back and forth, they weren't really sure why I was objecting to saying free. After all, I'm not asking for money from people to come, so why shouldn't it be free? And so when I explained to them, again, going to mindset, I said, there's 2 types of mindsets when you talk about a business owner. You have the dollars and cents mindset, which is concerned with it being a free event. There's $0 to come. And the dollars and cents mindset can be good. Really, though, it isn't. The other mindset is millionaire mindset. Now, what's the difference? A millionaire asks, how much time is it going to take? A dollars and cents mindset is going to ask, how much it's going to cost. When we understand that the only true currency is time, because we can never get more time back, all of a sudden it's completely different. And so when I am asking someone to give me 2.5 hours of their time, it is extremely different when you look at it as the cost, because now you're giving me 2 hours and there's a completely different idea behind that. When you can really develop the millionaire mindset, and that's why the building a winning mindset really became such a big deal, because all of a sudden now it's very different. I look at it, I'm no longer operating on the dollars and cents mindset. I'm looking how much time it's going to take, because I understand that's where I need to be. And so that's the other point. And then the last book that came out at the very end of 2023 is It's the Bottom Line That Matters book. And that is all about digital marketing strategies and how you can use it in your business to really help you. So it goes through simple things like SEO and pay-per-click and social media posts and networks, and using influencer marketing and affiliate marketing, email marketing, all sorts of different tactics that you can use using digital media strategies.
I was just amazed by that millionaire mindset versus dollars and cents mindset. It's something that is totally taken for granted out here. Everything is so much about money, right? Like we were talking about consumerism. How much money am I going to make from this deal? How much can I get from here? And whether you're in marketing or not, money runs the world. But it's the know-how to have that millionaire mindset to be able to actually move forward in your successes. And I really love the vision of that. So thank you for that.
I'll say now you got the money makes the world go around song stuck in my head from Cabaret, but whole other story.
I love that. I actually had a meet and greet the other day with somebody who produces shows on Broadway. She's a Tony Award winner, which is really cool. And she is doing a rendition of Cabaret, just like you said. And I'm just like, that's incredible.
That's the other thing, by the way, I didn't mention of what I do. I'm also a TV show producer.
Oh, incredible. That's amazing.
The show is America's Real Deal.
Okay. Where can I find the show or be able to watch it?
So the last season is currently streaming on Roku. It's online, YouTube, americasrealdeal.com. You can certainly look it up and get there. I think we're still on a couple of other platforms. We aired on Fox Business last season, and our showrunner is looking at other relationships for this year for our next season.
That's really cool. I learned something new every day. I thought we were going to sit and talk about marketing, but I learned something new about you today, Jennifer. And that's pretty awesome. A couple more questions. I just want to go a little bit into going back to your personal journey. Everybody has a different why in what they're doing and their passion. Is there something that you feel passionately about that pushes you to do all of the things that you're doing?
So like I said, in terms of where my drive is and being president, looking at really making a major difference in the lives of so many people. As an example, I know when my clients are working with me and I see the result of what happens to their business, they have more income because they're taking on more leads, they're taking on more clients. So because they have more business coming in the door, they tend to need to hire more people. So there's more money coming in the business. They're making more. They're hiring people. So they're putting jobs and creating jobs for people. The organizations that rely on the Main Street businesses now are getting even more in terms of the help that they rely on. So all of the charitable organizations that go knocking, whether it's the Boys and Girls Clubs, the police organizations, the volunteer fire and ambulance folks, all of these community organizations, and then the broader community organizations, such as the breast cancer research folks and the children's hunger things, and all of the different organizations that we become part of their community. Overall, all of these organizations see benefit also when businesses are doing even better. And one of the things that I keep looking at is how can I continue making that difference? Because I know that also as the communities are getting stronger, and I've been accused of being utopian in this regard, and I will gladly wear that badge of honor, even though they didn't mean it that way. But I don't see a downside. If you're doing better, they're doing better, the people down the street are doing better, what is the problem, right? Nobody is having a dystopian aspect in terms of where you are. If you can really show me how everyone doing better is going to lead to a dystopian aspect, I may relook at what I'm talking. But nobody thus far has shown me a dystopian aspect. But what we do see, though, is the more that I can get out there is lower crime, greater education, greater opportunity, less hunger, more connection, and more sense of purpose, more sense of life, more sense of what it is that I really want to be doing. Because when I know that this is going to result in this, all of a sudden there's so much more in terms of the value that you can be doing. And so from my perspective, what I'm looking at is really, how can I be making that connection to say, listen, Tov, I can work with you. I can show you this. I can show you that. You're going to be doing better off. And because you're going to be doing better, the ripple effect is going to be there forever. As they say, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for life, right? I can do things. I can give you the charitable contributions and everything. And I've been working with St. Jude as an example. One of the things I did with my novel that I'm in the middle of writing is I put out a call. I said, I'm looking for people to use as character names. And I said, if you make at least a $5 donation to St. Jude, I'll use your name as a character. If you make at least a $100 donation, I'll use your business name as a business in the book. And St. Jude loved it. First of all, it's giving them visibility. And I've been saying all along, I want to put St. Jude out of business because I don't want there to be any more children dying from cancer. There'll be other ways that they'll unfortunately need to transition into, but there won't be that. And so I'll then look at what else do I need to do? But again, that's my goal and my why. As like Simon Sinek says, start with your why. I knew my why from a long time ago, and that's why I keep doing what I do.
I love that answer. I'm hearing so much about building community and having this human to human connection as opposed to, like you said, this dystopian type of other connections. And I really love that you brought that saying into it. If you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. And it reigns so true in all aspects of life. It's a very Jewish value also that learning that gives you so much more. It brings you so much closer, but also you're only scratching the surface on a spiritual level. But like I said, I really think that it's so important that when you talk about that human to human connection, that's where the basis of community starts. That's where the basis of real, I don't want to say empathy, but I want to say connection that's pure connection rather opposed to, for example, my parents are here right now and they get to see their grandson who is much bigger than when they saw him last. And I try to call them every day on WhatsApp video so they can see him. But it's such a different relationship and connection from him being able to see them and say hi through virtual video than when my mom is in our yard playing with him and our dog. And it's just like so human, it's face-to-face contact. And I feel like it's missing in our society today because everybody has gotten so used to the black screen in their face. And what can we do about that? We can only hope for better days, but we can also look at it as these advancements are good for our society because we're, like I said, advancing in technology and it's growing. But again, I'm going to come back to this idea of like building community, having a community mindset. And that brings us to the last one of our topics, how being community minded can help us grow. Not only our business, well, you say one's business here, but how can being community minded really help us grow, to break out of our shells and to be one with each other?
Absolutely. And there's a couple of things that, first of all, being community minded is always going to be a major benefit. One of the things that we know is top of mind awareness. If you're out in your community, again, whatever kind of community it is, if it's your local Main Street community, or again, the broader affinity community. And the affinity community, like I said before, is as an example, the breast cancer research and whatever kind of overall community you want to talk about. So if you're focused on being an active participant in the community, people are going to see you and they're going to know you, and it's going to allow even more opportunity. And I want to illustrate the point here as a really big example that everybody can get a lot out of. One of the businesses that I have is a payment processing company, credit card processing, things along those lines. One of the things that I used to do, especially, I'm not as focused in it today, but we still take deals. But one of the things that I really used to do was nonprofit organizations. I would act nonprofit with them. Why? What's the difference between a nonprofit for-profit? The answer is tax status. A nonprofit is still a business at the end of the day. They still need to buy the same pens and pads and computers and everything else. And I guarantee you, the only discount really that they're getting is the tax that they're not paying for the most part, because most companies are not really giving them a ridiculous discount on the pens and pads and everything else that they have to get. Putting that issue aside, though, what I did was I looked at it, look, let me be really good for the nonprofits, because I also got to know the board of directors of the organizations, because when they knew that I wasn't making as much money as I could have been, they really liked that fact because they're attached to that organization, right? They're a director from that organization. And so they all of a sudden started knowing me. And so now I'm able to work with those businesses where I may not have before if I was just charging what I would have been doing, all the same with a nonprofit and for-profit. I mean, you go to any business, for the most part, they're not breaking it out. It doesn't matter. I mean, you call the electric company is charging you the same rate for the electric, whether you're for-profit or nonprofit. But if I'm a utility in a commodity business too, and I can show that I'm being even more favorable to the nonprofit, all of a sudden there's more value. So that's one of the things that you can look at. The other thing also is I sit on so many boards and commissions, and there's certain times that I hear from people, Jen, you got to step back a minute. You got to stop being on all of these boards because it's just taking too much of your time. And I look at it, some of them, I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I really shouldn't be on them because there's just, the connection is really a little too far of a reach. But then I look at where the value is, that I can still give even more value and know that there's going to be some sort of return value down the line. The other thing to keep in mind is, for those of you that believe in karma, while it's not necessarily a Jewish idea, and again, I'm not sure if it is or not, but it's not like one of the big Jewish ideas anyway, it doesn't mean that it's not there. I had a really close friend of mine, she used to tell me as I was going through my divorce, she was saying to me all the time, she said, Jen, don't worry, the karma is going to be there at some point soon. And I used to ask, all right, where is she? Because it was like 4 years in court, was absolutely crazy. But the idea, though, is that, again, you put it out there and it comes back. And I do the same thing when I'm talking with potential prospects, and not even potential prospects, but just people. I ask them all the time, one of the questions that I ask, if I can be of service to them, or I say, if you had one magic wand, what would it do for your business? And it can only do one thing. And if I can help you, I will. And that doesn't mean that it's me that's going to even be in a position to do anything directly. And I sometimes will ask, do you need my help? If it's something that I feel I can do. But more often than not, I mean, I meet someone at a networking event as an example, and they tell me they're starting up their business on a shoestring budget, and they need a logo, they need a website, whatever it is. I ask them, do you know Fiverr as an example? Because again, I have absolutely no financial connection to Fiverr whatsoever, other than the fact that they get some of my money from time to time too. But other than that, there's opportunity that I simply say, look, let me help you. At the very least, I know that I can do that. And so when you're community minded, when you're community focused, you realize that there's a lot more out there that you can be looking at and that you can be doing. And so when the community sees everything that you are involved in, it comes back and it really starts to pay off in dividends. Everything we do today, we plant the seeds for what we reap tomorrow. Think about being community minded in the exact same way.
I love that answer. And when you were talking about what you give out is what you get back, it made me think about, in the Parsha about 2 weeks ago, we were talking about terumah. It's the idea of maser, which is technically when you give tzedakah, you have to give 10% of what you earn. So this 10% is given out to wherever you're giving tzedakah, wherever you're giving charity. And the idea is not, obviously when you give tzedakah, you're not doing it so you can get it back. But in a podcast I was in yesterday, is somebody said to me, when we're giving that 10% out, we do it with the belief and the know that God is going to give it back to us tenfold. And I truly believe that. I believe that whatever we, like you said, whatever we do, whatever we pay it forward, it comes back to us in some way. I wouldn't necessarily call it karma. It's like a similar idea, but
That's what I was saying. I wasn't sure if it was a Jewish idea, but it's that idea.
there is a part in the Torah where it says, I forget really what the line is, but it's something about an eye for an eye. There's this idea of if you do this to me, then I have the ability to do it back to you. Coming back around, I want to talk a little bit more about your business. Is there anything that is coming up for you? Any exciting personal, business-wise things that are coming up for you or business strategies in the near future?
So one of the things that we're really excited about is we have a review management system called recommendstation.com. And on recommendstation.com, one of the things that we are doing is we're coming out with custom plans that allow us to offer even more value to the people that are going to be signing up. So as an example, when we first rolled it out earlier last year, we rolled it out at $97 a month for anyone that would be subscribing. But one of the things that we realized was that was even too much for certain businesses. So we have programs going out as low as $27 a month that was going to allow even more businesses to take advantage of the fact that they can now get reviews as well. So obviously with the lower investment, there's less that we can offer, unfortunately, just because technology still costs money and we have to pay the bills somehow. But in terms of what we can offer, we can still offer the platform. We can make it effective for the businesses that are still taking advantage of it and a way for them to really be getting even more value. And the one thing that I would just say for anyone that is listening is if you're not asking for reviews from your customers, think again. We know that 82% of people go on Google just to find the next burrito place that they're going to be going to. And Tov, you mentioned earlier about going to Amazon and seeing what you might have been able to get from Amazon. Anyone that hasn't bought anything on Amazon without at least looking at the reviews first, I would really like to meet you because I don't know anyone that has done that. I know that if I see that there's no reviews, I'd probably move straight past it off the bat. One has 30 reviews, another thing has 7,000 reviews. I'm going to look at the 7,000 reviews before I look at the 30. And it's just the way that human psychology is. We are a herd. We look at what others had done before us, and if people have gotten burned or if people have great experiences, it makes a very big difference. And the other thing also, though, just as a heads up, is you don't have to ask people for the reviews. You can ask them also for feedback. Not everyone likes giving a review, but everyone loves giving their opinion. And so if you ask them for their opinion on how things are going, what can we do better? What did you like? You're going to get a lot more people that will actually go ahead and give you that review or the feedback. And you can use it because even a negative review can be a tremendous value because you learned something that you didn't know before. And so one of the things that we're happy to do is give all of your listeners 60 days access to the system so that they can try it out. And it's just a code MAMASH60 to get the 60 days of access.
Very cool. I love that. And also for our listeners, how can our listeners learn more about you and your company?
Absolutely. So the best way is going to bgsicoaching.com. Again, bgsicoaching.com. Connect with me. You've got all of my information so that you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, on Insta, Facebook, check out YouTube. I mean, all of that is right there. You can easily connect with me.
Amazing. It's been such a pleasure to have this conversation with you today. I really enjoyed our talk and all of the things that we learned about. I really enjoyed learning that one day I'm going to be voting for Jennifer Glass to be the president of the United States. And as we wrap up here, I just want to give you a bracha that you continue being passionate about the things that you do and that you love, and that you continue to chase that goal of being the president of the United States with your values of tikkun olam and building community and giving credit to the small businesses. And may you have so much success in all of your endeavors from here on out and for a long time to come.
Amen. Thank you so much.
It was so good talking to you.